Welcome everybody. Welcome to today's stream. Good morning or whatever, where you are. Good day, either way. Interesting. So, there we are, having some fun with fractals already, and apparently our group has some issues. Interesting, very interesting. I actually did not encounter that a lot of times that we have here people that are just like kicking this. Kicking like just by, I don't know why. Interesting, very interesting. You will see. As usual, welcome to the stream. If you have any questions, any comments, let me know. And other than that, we will just play a bit and have some fun, hopefully. But yeah, I'm really excited for this year. I mean, I don't know if you also are excited. I think Guild Wars 2 has some very interesting patches coming up, and I think we have a very exciting time, not only for Guild Wars 2, but also ArenaNet as a whole. Maybe they will give us some announcements, how they continue with expansions and stuff like that. And either way, I think this year is quite fun to start the game, but also as a veteran to come back if you played it before. Because to be honest, Guild Wars 2 is a game that is now way more active than it has been in the last 5 years, which is crazy to me because obviously it got older over time. Very interesting what's going on. No clue. Are we still looking for someone? I guess, yeah. We will see. We will see if this group is like not staying like that. Very interesting. But yeah, as always, if you have any comments, questions, always just ask. I'm happy to answer and to talk to you about it. I have no clue, to be honest. I don't even know if we should stay in this group here, because they are like debating stuff that I don't really care about. Interesting. Maybe find some other group. Maybe some other thing that we can do. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a very nice group. Very sad, but what can you do? What can you do? Then I guess we will just do a strike mission run. Or maybe we find a better fractal group. Let's see. I still have my hopes up. If not, I will just play some PvP matches, because that's obviously the thing that you do if you don't find a group in PvE. You go into PvP and you will have a fun time there. We will see. We will see. Let's go into ranked, see how it goes from this. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I really try to stream more often now. So welcome to the stream. Hope you had a nice day so far and a good start into the year. But the idea is to stream more often, stream on multiple days, and hopefully catch more people that normally don't catch me. That's the idea. And I know that my stream times were always a bit problematic for people that are from the US, or in general from America, I would say. So I try to stream in the morning for you and try to stream in the afternoon for NA as well. So multiple different times. So welcome, mentors, welcome, welcome. But in the end, it's more about having multiple streams, just having more times to stream, and hopefully longer streams makes it so that people that want to watch me live will hopefully have a higher chance of catching me live, even if that's not always the stream time that they have time to watch. That's the idea here. But yeah, in general, it's like Guild Wars 2 right now, I was saying, is like in a state where it has not been the last few years. The interesting part here is that Guild Wars 2 did not really change too much with their own expansions and stuff, but a lot of other MMOs or other games right now are just not, let's say, crumbling a bit. And a lot of players so to say, influx into Guild Wars 2 because the game is still running. We had a really good expansion launch in October, and it's just like a lot of players are interested in playing this game, and this really, really pushes the game because we see more attention to it. We see more marketing from ArenaNet as well. I think this is a very healthy state that Guild Wars 2 is in. So I, as a content creator, I really enjoy having this game at such a positive vibes right now. I know there are some issues. I know we still have some hopefully unresolved things that are positive, like we don't know what's coming in this year other than the 3 patches. But I still think this is a great time to start playing the game, to continue playing the game, and hopefully maybe even coming back to the game if you're a veteran. Yeah, I really think so. It was to a marketing like crazy at the same time, like other MMO communities are not satisfied with the MMOs. Exactly. I think like the combination of those two facts, that you have a lot of players looking for new MMOs because they are not happy with what they played before, and ArenaNet is marketing like crazy, I would say, since, I don't know, maybe like August last year. So something like that. So in the last 5 months, they were like marketing like insanely crazy. They had so much just general, like they were on like the Game Awards. They did, for example, their cinematic movie style video with like 1 hour of talking about the evolution of Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2. They had like way more partners for ArenaNet, that they, so to say, now have more content creators that put out more content for them. They have a lot of like rather big MMO streamers that come to Guild Wars 2 that actually now engage with the game, at least to some extent. And then of course you have just more ads playing. You have really good trailers, in my opinion. There's a lot of stuff that actually pushes the game in the right direction with the marketing that they are doing, or with the, not necessarily marketing, but just like the attention they provide to the game and the company in general, while also of course having the players looking for it, so that actually players that look for it find it and say, oh, that's actually quite good. And then you have the word of mouth coming on top of the marketing. It's perfect. I hope that stays like on this like wave of positivity. I hope that stays like that and the marketing continues to push like that, because that's something that really helps the game to get more players, hopefully. Yeah. Recommendation for good open world build that is primarily ranged, tanky and medium or heavy armor. Primary ranged. I guess you could play some pistol Willbender, like Celestial Willbender is a very good option for that one. I think that's a solid choice. Yeah. Welcome Terrant, welcome. Welcome everybody. Welcome Absolute Paradox, welcome. Yeah. I tried playing classes in PvP, but I'm still undecided between Warrior, Guardian, and Necromancer. I think all of them are good. I think the best one right now is Guardian with Luminary, if you have access to that. I think Necromancer with Ritualist is also extremely strong, especially if you're starting out in PvP. It's not very challenging to play. Obviously, if you play against someone that is better than you, you might lose, but that's just how the game mode works. I think Guardian is a little bit more buttons to press, but both of them are insanely good. I think the thing that is a little bit worse is like Warrior is not bad, don't get me wrong. It's definitely a good class right now in PvP, but it's definitely not the top class. So if I would always say play the build that you enjoy, because oftentimes if you play a build that you don't enjoy, you might be way worse at it as if you would just like play a build that you like. At least that's the case for me. Focus this guy. Oh my god. I have to leave here. That's not gonna happen. We lost the fight, so always disengage in time so that you don't die. So I hopefully get here the decap. I didn't see my warrior on respawn. Or not respawn, but I got the decap at least. There's that. And now I can... Ooh. It's not a matchup that I actually want to be in, I have to be honest. So, better die on point here. That's fine. We'll take that. Any good classes that get used out of get use out of Celestial stats. Almost every class gets used nowadays out of Celestial stats. It depends a bit on the game mode that you're playing. So let me know what kind of game mode you want to play most of the time, then I can give you a more detailed answer. But I would say, especially in PvE, if you play open world, Celestial stats for soloing are insanely good, like really good for almost every class. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Hope you're doing all fine as well. Yeah, thanks for coming to my stream. Hopefully enjoying it. If you have any questions, just ask. Yeah. Any tips on how to get into raids? I'm always looking in the raid training LFG and it's always empty. I think the best way to get into raids, to be honest, is it's a little bit sad, but you should probably join a Discord server like Raid Training Initiative or Crossroads In. Those are the EU versions. There are also NA versions of that. If you have that and you join those, you will probably have a way easier time to find groups that are training. Because in the in-game LFG, I have to be honest, it's oftentimes a little bit challenging to find a group that is actually exactly the same level of skill level that you are. Oftentimes you really want to have a skill level that is somewhat similar to yours, because if they are more skilled than you don't learn that much. If they are less skilled than you or just don't find enough players of the same skill level, you will not kill the boss at all. So you have to find something that is like medium ground where you can learn, and oftentimes the Discord servers that provide those training initiatives, they also have, in my opinion, really good teachers. So you typically have like a squad of like one person being the teacher, and you have like 8, 9 people that don't know the boss, and they will get taught how to deal with the boss, and then you have a slow progression of this boss and you learn every single mechanic, and that's perfect. That's why I always recommend this. This is a 2v2. I'm not sure if we should fight this 2v2 or if we want our warrior to be in a 1v2 here, because they are just... It's just a little bit annoying, to be honest. Oh my god. Okay, we got the kill here. That's at least something. That's good. I mean, this is surprisingly well, this 2v2, because our warrior is not a bunker warrior. That's the thing. This guy will teleport back in a second, I guess. There we go. I will just go to mid now. Very good. There's another player. Is that the troubadour? Perfect. Support out of teammates. That's what we like. Distortion. Yep. And wait for the stability to run out. Very good. I think we should get the kill here now. There we go. Watched the dehumanization and Boon video, and I pretty much agree. Yeah, I'm glad that you say that. I don't want everybody to agree, so if you have that opinion, that's perfect, but if you don't, that's completely fine. I just want to spark debates about things that are on my mind, and hopefully some other people also have decent, I don't know, the opinion about the matter. So I'm glad that you watched it. I'm really glad, because I think we have to talk more about issues that are in the game, or at least perceived issues, and hopefully the developers listen to us to some extent. I doubt they will change the Boon stuff now, but I guess it's better to talk about it than just say it's never gonna happen anyway. Yeah. Open world of Fractals? Yeah, I mean, for Fractals, I would say Celestial is not that good. Typically the best for Fractals, if you want to play Celestial, is probably like Scourge or something, or Firebrand. Those two are the best options. If you play open world, every single class can play Celestial and works decently well with it. Warrior is one of the rare exceptions, where I would say a lot of Warrior elite specs are not very good with Celestial, with the exception of Paragon and Berserker, but Spellbreaker and Bladestone are not really good with this. But ooh, that was sad that we couldn't get the kill here. But yeah, either way, Celestial is a good stat for open world. For Fractals, I would say the best are Firebrand, Spectre, and Scourge. I mean, if we are completely outnumbered here, like the whole team, no, four people are here, and they have a support. I don't think we should fight this, to be honest. I don't think we should fight this. They got me. Sad. At least we hopefully have now a better team respawn and stuff, but they got a 3k out of that. PvE is beyond saving right now unless some drastic and major changes happen. So ANET can do it balancing for PvP and World vs. World. Yeah, I think it's more realistic that they balance boons and stuff like that for PvP and World vs. World, because there is something that they can do. But I think in PvE to change the boon wall meta that you have 12 boons permanently, that's just unrealistic. That's not gonna happen, because a lot of times you have to think people that now playing the game clear bosses because of this. And if they remove that, they will just remove the ability of a lot of people to actually clear some bosses, because that would just be a fact out of that. Would that be a problem? Not necessarily for me, but for some people that would be a big problem. So they cannot change something that is currently so integrated in the game, like boons being so permanent. And therefore, I think in PvE, where a lot of people are playing rather casually, I think it doesn't seem like really realistic. Sadly, this guy got the kill, so I will not push there. Yeah. Very nice. We got a... They won the 2v3 at far. That's actually very impressive there. So I will... Maybe I get the decap here. Let's see. So let's see if I can get this, and then I will answer some more questions. Okay, we get the decap here, I guess. That's good. That's very good. Yeah, for tier 4 Fractals, like I said, I would say probably my favorite pick would be Spectre. Celestial Spectre as a healer is extremely strong because you have nice healing output, nice damage for healer, and you have very good utility. It's just perfect. Firebrand is also very good with Celestial, but it's way harder to learn, I would say. Yeah. Welcome, Patricia. Welcome, welcome. I think it's completely fine if you say that it's nice that every class can do everything. I think that's a completely fair take. I just think it's like a little bit sad that every class feels somewhat similar while doing so, you know? To be honest, I think in an ideal world, you should balance it in a way that every class could do everything, but there should be some strengths for some classes. Not every class should be exactly the same, and there should be no class that is a little bit better at something. But I can totally understand why you would be like having a different opinion there. I'm not saying that is the only thing that you should. Nice, we got the kill here as well. Nice. This is the match-winning move now. Very good. Very good. Haven't been playing Guild Wars 2 for that long, and I don't mind the whole boon stuff that much, honestly. If this is the game's biggest problem, it isn't a good stat, I'd say. Yeah, I agree. I think it's actually a quite... Let me think here. Do we win this 1-on-1? Probably not. But we maybe can force the decap here if this guy is not really caring too much. No. It's the annoying build. It's the annoying build. Okay, we can get the decap here. That's good enough. That's good enough. But yeah, I agree. If that's one of the biggest problems in Guild Wars 2, then Guild Wars 2 looks quite good. Yeah, I agree. I think Guild Wars 2 right now is a very, very good game. I didn't make that clear enough in my video there, that I think Guild Wars 2 is a very, very good game. It's just like, if you are not allowed to talk about something that is not going perfectly well, I think the community is also not doing a very good job here. Yeah. I think you should always be able to talk about stuff that is also not going well. Yeah. The interrupt spam of this antiquary build is so annoying. I cannot cast anything. It's crazy. PvP balance is atrocious right now, almost unplayable. That's hard. 4 months after release of the expansion, only one small balance patch. Yeah, I think PvP is in a rather unfun state. If you don't play Visions of Eternity builds, you will not like have a lot of fun. It's just Visions of Eternity builds are just like one tier at least above all the others. It's crazy. So yeah, you should probably play those if you want to win. That's a little bit sad. I agree. I agree. Tried your all-around Untamed build and have been having so much fun. Thank you. Always glad to hear that. Always glad to hear that. I think it's a really underrated spec in general, Untamed. Yeah. It's good. It's really good. So, next up. What do we want to do here? Yeah, I think I get the point that people want some class identity, but for me, I gotta say that I swap a lot between classes and they feel very different enough for me. Yeah, I think personally for me, I don't say that that every class feels exactly the same, but I have the feeling that that is my main concern with like homogenization, is that, for example, I'm on this character, I'm now playing Conduit. Yeah. And why is it not okay to have Conduit be a DPS spec in all game modes? Why does Conduit have to be now a support as well? You know, if the class mechanic would be more flexible, that you could swap all your utility skills at will or something, then Conduit, in my opinion, could easily be a support. But it is not the profession mechanic. So therefore, I would say make Conduit just be a DPS. Why would you force quickness support and a healer in there as well if this just reliably deduces the flexibility of the spec or how well it is designed? Looking, for example, at Antiquary, you have the same issue. Antiquary can easily be a full DPS spec. Why do you have to force a healing support, alacrity healing support on top of that in Antiquary elite traits as well? Because you already have healing Spectre, alacrity healing Spectre. So why would you force alacrity heal Antiquary in there as well, just to have another alacrity healer that is, in my opinion, subpar to Spectre? So what is the reasoning there? I think that is just homogenization for the sake of homogenization. There is not a real value from having an alacrity heal on Thief that is not Spectre if it's worse than Spectre, and it destroys some of the traits on Antiquary that you could otherwise have made more interesting as a DPS spec. I think that is definitely why I see this homogenization. But I definitely get your point that it's not everyone sees that and not everybody wants or has that opinion. It's completely fine. I just want to give my point across, and hopefully there's some kind of middle ground there. Yeah. Would you say you gain the most gold from flipping? I would say you can start with flipping gold on the trading post and stuff like that. I think that is something that you can easily start with making gold. I wouldn't say you get the most gold out of that. The most gold you get by like making long-term flips. So that means that you buy something, you open it, you process it, so you craft something with it, you craft something else with it, and then you slowly go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, and then you sell it. And then you have like 5 steps that all give a little bit of gold, and if you then like sell it, you get a lot of gold out of that. That's like quite complicated and you have to know what you're doing, but starting with flipping is a decent amount of gold, yeah. Can't wait to try Beast Mastery with it after the changes. I agree. The Beast Mastery changes will be very impactful for all builds in PvE and PvP. You will try how they are and how good they are, but I think it might lead to a nerf of Soul Beast. That is my sad thing, that Soul Beast will be not as unique anymore in at least PvE. You will see. You will see though. I can't believe this, but I'm freaking out of Mystic Clovers, and when I crafted Vision last week, I have 0 clovers, 0 coins. Oh, I feel you. I feel you. That's not a good feeling. Yeah, I always think like, oh my god, I have like 200 of mystic coins and Mystic Clovers and stuff. But at some point, sometimes you run out if you craft a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. It is. Yeah, I mean, I totally get it. Rather, if you have like, if you really like to have different, like if you can play everything on a specific spec, but I think not every spec needs to have everything in the kit. That is my take. But I totally get why you see it. It's just a different opinion. It's not like we are offending each other. I think that's the most important part. Mentioning and talking about opinions is very nice. Everybody should like talk and tell me their opinion in the comments and in the chat, and everything is nice and happy. I just don't like it if people just say you're stupid, and that's the argument. That is something that I feel like is like very unhealthy for the community, very unhealthy for me, and I think that just shouldn't be like the case. But yeah, I mean, it's just the internet, I guess. Yeah, I think Guild Wars. I think even Guild Wars 2's balancing is not a big like issue in the game. I think the game is very well balanced in terms of how good it has been balanced over the last decade. There were way worse times in the balancing of Guild Wars 2, like way worse times. Really, we had times where we just had like 4 classes that are being able to play a support. I'm not joking. So it's like way better now. but it's still, I think, okay to say it's not perfect. I think that it should also be like, we should be secure, like enough to talk about stuff that is not perfect, so that we actually get an even better game. Yeah, Maze is really good for a Ranger in general. I agree, it's really good. You can get from Fractals too, but a bit RNG from the chest. Yeah, it's true. For me, almost every class is really great in the game, with the exception of the archetypes I don't like. So even if they made it like you suggested, I'd still find plenty of builds to have fun with. Exactly, I think it's like, we have now 36 elite specs, yeah? I think the ArenaNet should just say, yeah, we have 36 elite specs. I know you might only play a single class, but even if you play a single class, you will be able to play 4 different elite specs, yeah, plus the core class. So in my opinion, they should just say, yeah, not every class needs to have a support in there, not every elite spec. Looking, for example, at Revenant. Revenant has now, it's the craziest class in the game, Revenant. Because Revenant has, every single elite spec has the ability to be played as a healer. In PvE, that is. As a healer with like all the boons, yeah, that it should provide. That is crazy. Is that necessary? In my opinion, it's not. The problem is, if all of them would be really good, then it would be maybe different. But right now, none of the Revenant healers is good. All of them are decent, but not like good. So the problem is that I'm seeing here that they always have Revenant as the option to have a support. But because of that, none of them is really good at it. Because looking at, for example, Paragon is designed as a support with the primary objective. Revenant doesn't have that for any elite spec, so it feels like none of them doing a very good job like Paragon, for example, is. So I think if they would just say, okay, this elite spec is pure DPS, and then another elite spec for Revenant is a rather pure support, and yes, you could play it as a DPS, because I think this direction is very easy to do. You can always handle and say, okay, support just with full Berserker gear is a power DPS. It might not be the highest DPS number, but it is playable. Having a DPS build with Berserker gear switching to Harrier stats will not make it a healer, because you need some traits and boons for that. So I think having a support spec as a design and saying this is the support spec and the next one that we design is purely DPS is completely fine in my opinion, because we have so much to choose from nowadays. That's just a statement that I would say ArenaNet should be willing to make. Apparently they are not though. Which is, yeah, just how it goes, I guess. Which spec do you think wins the most on the upcoming January update? I think it's Guardian. I'm really like crazy to say that, but I think the seal changes with the traits are really buffing Power Guardian. I think Power Guardian will be absolutely bonkers after the January patch, like in all game modes. It is already really good in all game modes, so changing it to make it even better will be like crazy. Yeah, I really think so. Speaking of the internet, you've almost reached 20k followers on YouTube. Can we expect something big to celebrate? Oh yes, you can. I don't want to tease too much, but it will be big. Yes, I will be doing something big. Absolutely. So you can expect something there. So, I guess we can do some strike missions together. Let's do some strike missions. Let's do that. If you have some experience in strike missions, not like crazy, just a little bit, you can join if you want. I will set up a squad. And we can do that. The exclamation mark join in the Twitch chat should work. And you can just squad join me if you want. We will do the classic strike missions. IBS 5 plus DS. And we will need quick DPS and alacrity heal. You can just write your role on squad join. We were looking for supports first. And yeah, let's play a bit together. If you want to join, do that. Do you know when the new update comes to Visions of Eternity? So the new update will come in a bit more than a week. Okay, so we have a quick quick DPS here, very good. Oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. 1 second. Setting up the squad here correctly. There we go, we need one quick heal and we should be covered. Very good. And of course, like I said, if you have some experience in the strike missions, you don't need to have crazy kill proof or anything. Just have a meta build and you can join here. That's it. And just exclamation mark join in the Twitch chat if you want to join, or just go be in game /squad join and my character name here. This is the command here. But yeah, as the usual, So what do we have here? DPS, very good. Revenant best class in the game. But yeah, the Revenant healers are bad. Yeah, I think Revenant healers in competitive modes are not that bad. It's more like the problem of PvE where you need flexibility. Sometimes you want reflex, sometimes you want to have stability, sometimes you want to have H's, sometimes you want to have like Condi cleanse. And Revenant struggles with bringing that as a flexibility kit. You always have the same kit because of the legends. That's the biggest issue there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Guardian is really good. No. I prefer every class can do everything instead of every spec. Exactly. That's how I think ArenaNet should think as well. That if you have a DPS build for Revenant, then the next class can easily, or the next elite spec of Revenant can easily be a full support. But you don't have to force supports in every single elite spec because that just limits the design space, in my opinion. That's what I am saying here. Yeah. So, let's see if we get a quick heal now, hopefully. On YouTube it doesn't work, the join command, it's just on Twitch. So I can type it here for you. You have to type /squad join and then you can type any of my character names. So that would be for an example how to join my squad if you want to join. Yeah. It's not like, the thing is like important to understand is that Revenant healers are not horrible, ne? In 1 second. So it's not horrible to play a heal, let's say Vindicator, or playing a heal Herald. It's not like you completely like grief your group. The problem is more that it's just not as good as all the other healers, like by a significant margin, I would say. And that's a little bit sad. Very good, very good. And 1 second, let me set it up and then I can finally say my what I wanted to say here. And I think it's just if they would buff, for example, heal Renegade, or they would buff, I don't know, heal Herald even to a level where it's at the same level as, for example, heal Paragon here. People would play it, and then you don't need to force support in all the other elite specs of Revenant to make them viable. Yeah. So hopefully we have now all the boons covered. Let's see. Wilderness survived to me. Guardian was thematically the low HP heavy armor class with low mobility but high active defenses, and then they injected it with 5 cans of energy drinks. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like, I can see where you're getting with, but I personally also think you have to understand that a lot of times it is people want the elite spec to be unique, and if you always do exactly the same that you would, so to say, expect from the core class, and you always just change the attacks a little bit, but it feels exactly the same, then it's not really unique anymore, is it? So I think it's fine to have an elite spec that is focused around way more being like mobile and just having a lot of ports and stuff like that, if it has some other drawbacks. And I think there are some drawbacks to Willbender. You don't always want to have a Willbender because it has forced movement. So in PvE, sometimes that kills you at some bosses where you really want to not move all the time. So I think it's okay. I think it's, I can see your point, but I think it's okay. It's not too bad. Yeah. And you don't have to play Willmanner. There are 3 other elite specs for a Guardian. What is kill proof? Kill proof is like saying you killed a specific boss multiple times. And for example, for strike missions, typically the kill proof are those things. You get those Bone Skinner ritual vials, you get those from killing Bone Skinner with silver or gold reward. And this is typically considered kill proof, so that you killed the boss multiple times if you have multiple of those, or a lot of them actually. And that goes for almost every single PvE instance. There is some kind of trophy or something that you can say this proves that you killed the boss this amount of time. And some people want that. I don't care for those easy strike missions, but some people really, especially for raids, really are looking for people that killed the boss like 100 times. Is that healthy for the game? It's for you to decide that. I just say, I don't need that for my squad. Anyone else get used to always having endgame content to play in MMOs, that when they try other games, they can't keep playing them just for fun? Yeah, I think that's crazy. I have that issue a lot, Winslow. I'm with you there. I like to play other games, you know, besides Guild Wars 2. But the problem is I will never, to be honest, stick with them for like longer than a couple of like dozens of hours. Yeah, a lot of times I just quit after playing for a bit, maybe playing it through the game, because even if I enjoy the game, there is for me almost no incentives to stick around, which is really, really sad. Because a lot of times I think for a normal player, you would just play what you enjoy, what is fun. You don't need to have a goal. But if you have the MMO mindset of always having something to do because there's endgame, there's something to grind, that is not really the case in a lot of other games. It's crazy, yeah. If you're not looking at the MMO genre, I have that as well, yeah. Like after maxing everything in Arc Raiders, there's no reason for me to play it anymore because there's no endgame content. Glad there's PvP and World vs. World for Guild Wars 2 to come back. Yeah, I agree. I definitely see that. That's why I'm always setting myself some own goals in Guild Wars 2, otherwise I might be a little bit bored, you know. I enjoy the game so much, I would be so sad running out of goals and having fun playing it, you know, especially because I also create content for it. I don't want to create content for a game that I don't enjoy playing anymore. Yeah. Exactly, intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation, exactly. And second. So next up we do, I guess, the Frania. It was said, yes, they were being a bit flamed. Glad the com gave them a chance. It went smooth. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's for me, it's one of the sad parts about like some. You know, I like to make tier lists, but what I really should stress more, hopefully I stress it enough, but maybe something that I should stress even more is that oftentimes players have some toxicity towards classes that I rate lower. Not necessarily I do, but the whole community thinks something is a little bit worse. That doesn't make it unplayable. Most classes, I would say, especially like when it comes to DPS builds, you can even play core classes as DPS builds nowadays. It's really about just, some of them are just way more flexible or better in terms of like try-hard people. But even in like casual scenarios, you can play like crazy like cooks of like core thief or something, and you have like almost 40k DPS with it. It's really, it's just about the mindset that people think something is bad and they don't want it in their group. That should not be like the case, to be honest. That should not be the case. It should not be the case, yeah. Is that another way to disable infusion visual effects? Sadly not. Sadly not, as far as I know. Infusions, yeah. Infusions you can only do with the general effects. Maybe we'll get some updates to this. As far as I know, I always have that turned to the same setting because I don't really... Is it graphics? This is also helping sometimes. Let's do it again. Let's do it like that. I think ANET did the progression system Guild Wars 2 so good, which makes it by far the best MMO out of there. Yeah, I agree. I think the progression system in Guild Wars 2 is like insanely good. The problem is that the progression system in Guild Wars 2 is really good, and it has the issue that it is fully horizontal. You know, if you get Ascended Gear, you are almost done with the game in terms of like how much gear stats you get unlocked. Yeah, it's not like you grind for the next item level anymore. So this is something that a lot of players coming from Final Fantasy, coming from World of Warcraft, for example, they struggle a bit with. What do I do after I get my Ascended Gear? What is the goal after that? And that's why I always say Guild Wars 2 is a very good game if you are somewhat interested in a sandbox game. Yeah, because Guild Wars 2 is, for me, a sandbox game. Why is that? Because as soon as you have the maximum, let's say, Ascended Gear unlocked for your character, it's more like, what do you want to do in the game after that? It's not some like straight up paths where you have to follow. Getting into this dungeon to get the next item level of gear. Getting into this dungeon to get the next item level of gear. Getting into this raid to get the next item level. No, that's not how Guild Wars 2 works. So you have to set your own goals. So for example, getting the next legendary, getting more bag slots, getting a bigger bank, something like that. It's just examples that I would come up with. But there are so much more, getting the next cool skin, whatever. So much things to get in the Guild Wars 2. So the progression in Guild Wars 2 is really well done. But it is, in my opinion, something that not everybody likes, because some people like to chase a carrot. And that's also fine, at least in my opinion. But yeah, you have to accept the game for what it is. I wish they cut down on the currency and shoved more stuff into the wallet. I agree. I think that is something that we hopefully see more with the core feature update coming in a month. I really hope so, because we get the raid and the strike currency merged. I think that will definitely decrease the currency. They will have a unified currency. They're pretty much guaranteed. And I hope they will continue to merge currencies like that. Like, that is my hope for almost all of them. That is my biggest hope, to be honest, for the patch, that we get at least 10 currencies shoved into at least lower amounts. Yeah, let's leave it like that. That is my hope. I'm not sure if it will happen, but we know for the raids it will happen. And that's already 5 or 6, so not bad. Returned after so long and seeing the 1000 new currencies, yeah, I feel it. But the problem is, you have to understand, they don't want veterans like me spawning in on a new expansion and a new map and having the currency that you need to craft the legendary already prepared, because we played the game for so much. So every time there is a new update, there is a new expansion, they want all the players, new players and veterans alike, to engage with this content. Yeah. And therefore, you really have to force them to play the new maps. Thanks a lot for the Prime, really appreciate it. Thanks, Imp. Hope you're enjoying the stream. But yeah, I think it's, for them, they are in some kind of a dilemma. How do you fix it that people actually engage with the new maps and have to grind them to get the new legendary without having anything introduced that is already achievable in the game? The easiest solution is having more currency. Different, new currency. And that's just not healthy, but it's sadly the case what they are doing. Thanks a lot for the Prime. Really appreciate it, Niall. Hype train going. Very good. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it hyped on a Sunday morning. Very good. Thanks for your support. But yeah, I think this is a big issue in the game in terms of easy to understand things for new players, because currencies are always, for new players, somewhat challenging to get. What is this currency? How do I get it? But if you introduce new currency every single patch, it will just get worse every single time. And I get the argument that they have to make a way to engage you with the new content, sure, but it's not perfect. I don't know if there's a really good solution for that. I guess they do it some thought with the, how is it called, with those ancient coins here and the unusual coins, so that as soon as you have a new expansion, you get unusual coins, and the other older expansions ones go to ancient coins. I think that is a rather smart way of doing it, but you cannot do that for every single currency here, because look at this, there are so many currencies in the game. So yeah, I agree, currencies are an issue. Yeah, it fascinates me that Syrma has the best account with all legendaries, max master, but uses the most basic skins. Yeah, it's really funny. It's some kind of ironic statement all the time. I have so many skins unlocked, and I'm probably one of the most, I would say, casual players when it comes to fashions in this game. It's really really funny and ironic in that sense. Oops, sorry, my friend. Yeah. as a WoW veteran, I can say I prefer Guild Wars 2. I burned out carrot chasing. Yeah, I think that is completely understandable as well. You know, I have to be honest, Patricia. I at this point, I want to get into the mindset of being a carrot chaser in other games just to see how it feels, you know? Just to see how it feels to be someone that wants to get the best item level every single time a new patch drops or new expansion drops. I have to get this mindset because I played Guild Wars 2 for over a decade. So for me, this is not something that is like natural anymore. You know, I don't chase carrots anymore because I have the best gear since the beginning of time. That was a very smooth banner. I like it. So, but I can see this, like carrot chasing can get boring after a while. I definitely see that. Makes sense, but other than wallet, could add more to material storage. Yeah, I think, to be honest, the material storage is one of the features in Guild Wars 2 that I like so much, and I think not a lot of people, not enough people at least, understand how good the material storage is. I think the material storage is such a smooth feature, so why not make it so that you get more new materials and instead of having the wallet filled? I think a lot of the currencies that you have in the wallet as like items here could easily be in the material storage. Yeah, I agree. That is a good point. And then it would not be as clunky because the material storage makes sense to be the storage for materials. Yeah, I agree. I mean, they did it to some extent, but it's like, it's still like a system that makes new players like somewhat cringe if they see it because it's like very big, the material storage. So it's always confusing and a little bit too much, I guess, to grasp in the beginning. But you get there. That's just the nature of an MMO, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for your content. I'm very thrilled that the franchise will go on this year, but I'm not really hyped for Guild Wars 3 because it tends to overcommit while ignoring old stuff. I hope they don't. I really hope they don't do this time. I really hope if they bring out Guild Wars 3 at all, I hope they will continue developing Guild Wars 2 in the meantime. I really hope so. But glad you enjoy my content, yeah. To be fair, so many people end up looking like an ugly glowing walking blob with all the effects on. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be an ugly walking blob, but I also don't really care about my fashion. It's like, for me, it's really sad, but I equip my legendaries and I typically don't change any gear of them or like looks of them because I just use the legendary for the convenience. And you know, seeing this, how many legendaries I have here on my warrior, it's a little bit crazy to me that like some of them I have never equipped. I'm not joking. So it's like, I'm just like too insane to play this game, to be honest, as a fashion was like enjoyer. Wait, no, don't run in, don't run in, no. Okay, very good. That was rather close, but we did it. Yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? I think the day before I had a bone skinner that just was bugged in a way that we didn't have any of the special action keys. Yeah, this attack was not happening. Can I get this? The special action key was just not there. It was just not there. It was not happening. The boss did not do its attack where it's like raised its hands in the air. It was just not doing it. It was really interesting. We still killed it in gold reward and stuff, but it was, I guess this is, oh, nice. It's a elementalist, so we can get the rest here. A little bit tense here. I think the healer in the other subs is a little bit struggling, to be honest. A little bit. Maybe we can help a bit. I can, you know, the problem is I cannot solo heal if my allies are also, in my subgroup are also getting pressured. So I cannot solo heal them because I'm melee healing. If you have ranged healing, it's a little bit easier. So we get some heal. Oh, that's so close. Get some more barrier up. Intense. We need to get the banner. How many people are down? Banner in like a few seconds. And banner. Oh, 4 people banner. That was deluxe. 4 people banner. That's how we like it. Yeah, I like the banner cooldown in PvE being lower, so I can use it more often to rest people here. So good. And dodge. Painful. You know, the problem is I should not be the one resting, you know, because I need to heal. Everyone else can rest with the hand, pressing F, but I should not be the one that should like press F because then I cannot heal while doing so. especially in the later phases of this boss. It's a little bit sad, but I guess that's what we have to do. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. We will get the gold reward hopefully anyway. Now I can rest. Is the SPVP balance crazy at the moment, or is it just me? I think the balance is quite crazy. It is like Visions of Eternity specs in PvE, or you probably will lose. It really, really is. So yes, it's crazy right now. We did it. It was a little bit of a scuffed bone skinner, to be honest, but it was okay. It was okay. Yeah, I think that's a very good point. If there would be a new MMO coming out of ArenaNet that is not called Guild Wars, just a different name, I think that would actually help the franchise as a whole, because it would not have the image of Guild Wars 2. It can still have like combat and systems and maybe even the world of it, but it should maybe be a little bit different. Okay, we lost the DPS. That's interesting. That's okay. So, how is it called? There we go. Let's do that. Yeah. Even for collectors, they put 8 months of content in every 6 months patch for WoW. Can never keep up when playing casually. Yeah, I think that's something that is definitely, I wouldn't say bad. I like to have something to do, but I can see why a casual player would be a little bit sad to not be able to get all of the stuff done that they put on like every single patch. Yeah. Even when there's no carrot to chase, there's still a reason to play Guild Wars 2, which is just improving at PvP and World vs. World and increasing rank. Even when you have all the legendaries, there's still things to do. Exactly. You know, I never get bored of Guild Wars 2 right now, because I have everything that I want in the game, but I still want to get better at the game. So there is no like pixel that I chase. I just chase getting better skill at the game. So yeah, that is definitely something that is on my mind for sure. I agree, Winslow. That will be interesting. It requires a lot of commitment if you want to carrot chase in WoW just for one character. Now imagine if you want to play more than one. Yeah, exactly. It's probably not able to be done for me. It's probably, as a multiple character slot enjoyer in WoW, that would probably be taking all my life away, I guess. Yeah. For me, PvE only would get boring quickly. Yeah, I think PvE is not for everybody, but even there, I think you can have this mindset of I want to get better, I want to learn every single build, I want to be really good at like playing every single boss. So I definitely see that being like possible there as well. But in PvP and World vs. World, I think it's way easier to have this mindset. I agree. Yeah. Not really a good player, and I played Necromancer because of survivability. What other classes have good survivability? Because I'm a bit bored of playing Reaper. I think the other good classes that have good survivability would probably be something like Guardian with its effective blocks and stuff, Warrior with its high HP pool, and that those two would probably be my top picks. But in general, like every single class has surprisingly good survivability if you choose the right build for it. Yeah, nowadays it's way less about the core classes choice, way more about just having understanding which build are quite tanky. For example, Mesmer is considered a rather squishy class, but if you play Virtuoso, you actually are quite tanky as well. You have invulnerability in there, you have some lifesteal in there. It's just depending on the build nowadays, way more than it is on the class. But I would say Guardian in general, and I would probably also say Warrior, those two are quite like survivability, but survivable by nature. Whereas Guardian has a low health pool, but you have active defenses like blocks and stuff like that, which keep you alive. When you have time, two-part question for Mechanist Noob. Can you use your rival PvE for solo world? Yes, you can do that. You can do that. It's completely fine. You will not have, obviously, that many boons if you do that like that, but it will be working from easy content. And if you want to do some like crazy legendary bounties solo in open world and stuff like that, then I would recommend going for my solo Mechanist build, yeah. And if you want to get more AoE with it, then going for like the grenade kit with rival gives you some AoE. If you want to get even more AoE, you can swap in how is it called? Bomb kit. And you can even swap to mortar kits. So then you would have like 2 more kits. It makes the build way more, let's say, piano playstyle, but it is possible to get way more AoE this way. yeah, that would be my recommendation. But in general, like, you having your grenade kit already gives you a decent amount of AoE already. Yeah, Bow of Truth is a good choice. In general, like any healing skill that provides a lot of healing for Bone Skinner is just, oh my god, I need to get the Condi Glance going. The burning here kills you. Yeah, any healing skill that gives a lot of healing, Bow of Truth. Like, I like, actually, to be honest, on Guardian, if you play healer, it's not even bad to run the Signet Elite skill, because it gives some passive heal, and if you activate it, it gives a huge chunk of heal as well. Just get as much healing as possible on a healer in Bone Skinner, because you have just the healing pressure there. There are some Condi Cleanses, that's about it. Nothing else. You don't need CC most of the time if everyone uses the special action key. It's just like, you need just a lot of healing. That's the main thing. I mean, I have not tried WoW. Maybe I will do it on stream here, like I said yesterday already. If like a huge part of the player base, or the community rather, here in the stream is interested in seeing me play WoW, and not only like being the Guild Wars 2 guy, but also playing other games, but being not as good, and probably quite bad, because I have to start somewhere, then yeah, sure, I will do it. You know, I'm interested in trying so, but if no one will watch me because they say, oh my god, this guy is so bad, I can't watch this, then maybe not, you know? So that's the answer there, Scorpion, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Rifle is really, really good on Mechanist, and I see why a lot of people like it. There is even nowadays a build that only uses Rifle auto attack, and it reaches 34k or something. It's insane. Mechanist can be so easy and so good. Like having 0 button presses and you get 34k, that's pretty strong, yeah. Yeah, Bomb Kit on Engineer, Blast Finisher is barely used now. Yeah, I mean, Bomb Kit on Engineer is like, it's a good kit for blasting, but it's also a good kit for damage. So if you want to get like the most amount of damage in an AoE scenario, typically Bomb Kit is actually a solid choice, yeah. But of course, I agree. It's like for players that play a low-intensity Mechanist build, I think swapping in more kits really defeats the purpose to some extent. Yeah, you don't want to play 4 kits if you want to have a low-intensity build. You know, there are so many buttons to press for you then that doesn't really make that much sense. Yeah. Which Living World should I buy first? I would say Season 4. Typically, if you don't care about the story being in order, I think it's the best if you can provide yourself with the most amount of value for it. You know, in Living World Season 4, you have crazy good gold farms in there. You have one of the best maps in there, or multiple of the best maps in terms of like gold farming, while also having really good chunk of like story in there, and you get access to some really good vendors. I don't know. I think Living World Season 4 and 3, those two are by far the best options for Living World. Iceblood Saga is also awesome. I would personally, if you don't have Iceblood Saga, I would get Iceblood Saga and Living World Season 4. Those two. Living World Season 1 and 2, those are not even like that easy purchasable, at least the Season 1, but I would not get those. I really don't care about those. They're not providing that much, but Season 3, 4 and Iceblood Saga are good. Yes, I'm unique in Guild Wars 2. That is true. That is true. A wild summer life, yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. My Saturday Sunday rather is doing like some streams. I'm having some fun, doing my usual stuff. Some Iceblood Saga strike mission, talking about Guild Wars 2 in the future. Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah. I rely on Aegis and F3 into 5 or Sanctuary when he jumps to prevent damage, but I'm glad Heal Brand can pull the heal numbers when necessary. Exactly. I think the most important part about Heal Firebrand, why people struggle with it, I see a lot of people struggling with Heal Firebrand as a healer on Bone Skinner specifically, is because Heal Firebrand has a lot of heals baked into its kit, and the important part is you have to know how to find them. It's not like it's just like one button, like on Warrior, pressing the F1 off cooldown heals like insanely hard. No, that is not the case for Firebrand. So for example, what people forget is that you can swap to Bow of Truth. You can swap, and that's the part that I think is also very underestimated, is if you dodge. Your dodge heals like 2k or something with full setup. That is crazy. Like a dodge healing for 2k is really, really good. So on Bone Skinner, even if you don't dodge an attack, as a heal firebrand, just dodge randomly to give some healing to your allies if they need it. Stuff like that. And then, of course, having H's to your party so that when you put it in the last second after the boss comes back from its jump, it will be like effectively negating all of the damage from it. Stuff like that is really, really good. Just be, of course, careful if there are a lot of wisps up. They can also strip the boons, or remove the H's rather. So that can also be a little bit annoying. But if you know what you're doing, Heal Firebrand is insanely strong. You just have to know how to press your buttons in the correct time. Yeah. Have you thought about Relic of the Mist Ranger on the low intensity Paragon build to make a good open world build? Yes, that works. That works. That is a good option. I mean, the thing is with Mist Ranger Relic is you have to understand that it is a small DPS loss for sure. 100% it's a small DPS loss, but it will give you survivability. It is not like crazy high on warriors, even though you have the fast attacks. It is not like insanely high. Why is that? Because you don't have multi-hits. Looking at Amalgam, which is one of the best, if not the best user of those like healing on hit effects, it's completely a different caliber. Why is that? Because like if you press a fast auto attack on warrior, you heal with each hit once. For example, Amalgam casts the elite attack and it heals you for like 10k over the course of like 5 seconds. It's crazy how much it heals you just for pressing one button. So yes, Mist Ranger is a good option there, but I think it's still not like, it would be a decent solo build, but it will not be the best solo build because of this just single change. Keep that in mind. Also, you don't have any quickness access then. What's the difference between fractals and strikes? So fractals are 5-person content, whereas strike missions are 10-person content. Other than that, they just give a little bit of other rewards, but it's essentially like similar PvE content from the difficulty, at least somewhat similar. Yeah. On that note, combos are kind of dead now. It's nice when it happens, but 99% of the time you don't care now. Yeah, it's actually a little bit sad. I might do a video about it and think that like people will agree with me most of the time actually that combo fields are a really cool system and like the interactions with combo fields and finishers and stuff. But oftentimes it doesn't really matter. You know, you just like, you use them, sure, but it's not something that is like game changing if you like don't do it. I personally think that's a little bit sad because in the beginning of the game, you know, most of you might not have played the game yet, but in the beginning of Guild Wars 2, before engaging a boss, for example, the Elementalist put down a fire field and you blasted fire fields to get 25 mites stacks. And then you wanted to blast water fields in World vs. World to get the healing out. You wanted to blast stealth fields or smoke fields. That's still a little bit the case to get stealth for the squad. That is really cool. And that's a little bit sad that got lost along the way, in my opinion, because this is something that is, I don't know, quite unique to Guild Wars 2, that you have some interactive attacks that are not necessarily bound to a specific class. I think that's really cool. I don't know how to fix it though. I don't know how they can say this is now more important. I mean, I guess they could buff the numbers. They could say like the healing field now heals like for 3 times the amount. But that would just be broken, I guess. I don't know. It's really hard to fix stuff like that. It is just like power crept over the course of time. Also, will there be any updates to Celestial Booster Spec tier list? Yes, I will do it. I'm working on it. I have it already on my very high to-do list, very high up. Yeah. Relic of Sakiros or Mist Ranger better for survivability? I would say for almost all builds, Sakiros is better for survivability. There is, like, Amalgam is the only exception where it can be somewhat close and you get a damage buff from Mist Ranger on top of that. But I would say Sakiros is always better. Is full Berserker gear possible without being it too squishy? Yes, yes. I would say in PvE nowadays, full Berserker gear is completely fine. Yeah. You just have to slowly get better at the fights and learn which attacks you have to dodge and avoid. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You just press 1 or 2 buttons and you have 12 boons. And previously in the game, it was like Elementalist put down the fire field and then you had to blast with like, I don't know, 8 blast finishers to get the might up. And then you wanted to have the fight be over in like next I don't know, 20 seconds to have full might all the time. That was a different time, sure, but it was a fun aspect of the game. It's a little bit lost for sure. Just got kicked out of the game and apparently my client can't access the login survey. Anyone else getting the issue? Hopefully not. I mean, that happens sometimes. I don't know. For me, luckily, I don't have that issue that often, but sometimes they have problems with the servers in the last few months. I think there are some, they're using some other servers, like for example, like what are they using? You know, third-party servers, and sometimes they have issues. It's not the ArenaNet servers. That's a little bit sad, but I guess that's what it is. I just wait a bit and hopefully they will fix it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying the Signet is a must-use, but if you play Heal Firebrand, I think oftentimes you don't struggle with quickness uptime, because that's the only other thing that you would have on a Heal Firebrand, would be using the elite skill that gives you the, where is it here? Using Feel My Wrath to give some quickness. You know, having the Signet of Courage, let's swap to my Heal Firebrand build. Where is it? Yeah, there. Yeah, let's leave it like that. You have here like a passive heal that procs every few seconds, and you give a little bit more healing. And if you see your party members are about to die, you can also use the channeled heal, and it gives insane amount of healing. Like it tops them off almost surely. So having to trade a little bit of quickness for having passive heals, I think that's fine. And of course, like you always should adjust stuff. You know, Sanctuary, you already mentioned it, Patricia. It's a really good skill. It blocks missiles and it heals allies. And it is a CC. It's just so overloaded. And with the trade that you have on Firebrand, if you choose it, where is it? Yeah, I don't have the trades here set up now. But if you have the setup for it, you can take the, is it here? Yeah, here, Master of Consecrations. 2 more seconds on Sanctuary, meaning your Sanctuary pulses 7 times. That's so much healing. That's so much CC that it applies over time. It's crazy. So yeah, there are so many tools to make your Heal Firebrand actually a really, really good build. Agreed. 100% agreed. Yes, hydrating. Good point. Good point. Is the Black Line level 80 boost ticket giving you the celestial stats? Let's check. I actually never used it. I have to be honest. I never used it. Yes, it's the same item. I think it's exactly the same item that I have here, because it like requires you an empty shared inventory slot. That's exactly the same item. I cannot move this. It's also this item. And so it's very expensive, this item. So if you already have a character at level 80, I would probably never purchase that. You know, that's very expensive. That's very expensive. That is like 2,000 gems. That's like 760 gold. That's insane to level a character to level 80. You know, if you want to level a character to level 80 and have used all of your level 80 boosts that you get from buying expansions, then I think there are 2 ways to boost your character. One of them is using Tomes of Knowledge. If you play PvP, World versus World, even in PvE, you sometimes get Tomes of Knowledge. You need only a couple of them to boost the character. And if you have characters that are, let me show that. I'm sorry, warning ahead. This is an insane character. I'm really sorry that I have to show that here. But if you have multiple characters and you have them for a longer time, so if you're a returning player, then you get birthday presents every single year. And they include, where is it? They include, wait, I can't see, here, the experience scrolls. And the longer you wait with your character, the higher these experience scrolls grow. So the highest one that I have here is level 60. So if you use this, you boost your character instantly to level 60. So I would say wasting, to some extent, 2,000 gems on this item that gives you the level 80 instantly is not worth it. Even if you get Celestial Gear with it, it's not worth it in my opinion. Keep that in mind. Yeah. So just wanted to mention it here because it came up. Yeah. Yeah, there are so many. The thing is, Heal Firebrand, there are a lot of. Let's talk a bit about this. But Heal Firebrand is a good example of you have insane amount of access to quickness. Like almost all your utility skills provide quickness on Heal Firebrand. The important part though is that some of them are positional. Yeah. So some of them have a rather small radius. Some of them have a rather big radius, but some of them don't. So that means that you as a player, if you don't know where your teammates are, sometimes you want to position yourself in a way that you make sure that they get hit by it. But sometimes it's just not possible. Sometimes they are just standing in a way that it's really hard to get. So even though you have like a lot of quickness access and you could upkeep quickness like 160% of the time, so meaning that you can overcap quickness like crazy, it is sometimes better to have those utility skills still equipped, you know what I mean? So you don't want to say, yeah, I can upkeep 100% quickness on paper, but in a real life scenario, this will not happen because my teammates are standing in a weird position. So yes, you're correct. You can drop easily your elite skill, you can drop almost everything and still provide enough quickness. But oftentimes, if you don't need the heal from the healing signet or from the elite signet, then it's better to take Feel My Wrath. And I'm not even talking about the fury and the super speed that you can provide with it as well. Just saying here for the quickness, it's oftentimes better to have a little bit more quickness than necessary, because oftentimes you cannot guarantee that everybody is on stack all the time. Just wanted to bring up this discussion here. Yeah, I think it's a little bit sad that you don't get any new presents. It's just like the birthday booster that you get from like 11th to 13th birthday. And that's about it. There is nothing really changing. It's a little bit sad, but I guess they had to do it at some point and say, this is now how we continue to go forward and not like make the same all the time. Or like make it something new every time. Because at some point you have like 20 years and everything gives a different one. I don't know if they have the time to do that all the time. I don't know. So, yeah, good day. Welcome. Question here from YouTube. Does food make a huge difference for DPS heal numbers? I never saw my DPS before the strikes we did. My damage was so low. So, Sushi, that's not a problem. You know, at least you notice now that your DPS might not be the highest, and then you can slowly improve and look at it. So, what is the thing? Food does provide damage buffs. Yes. Let's take a look at it. If you look at normal food, so best comparison, let's talk a bit about food, you know. That's a very good question, and you might even not know about it. So if you compare the most common foods that you have for power build, you would have ascended food, cilantro, lime, sous vide steaks, giving you 100 power and 70 ferocity. Then you have the same food being tradable from a trading post. Yes, it's somewhat expensive, but this food gives exactly the same stats, 100 power, 70 ferocity. However, cilantro, lime, sous vide steaks give you 66% chance to steal life on critical hit. So let's take a look at first what the 100 power and 70 ferocity provides. I calculated it in a, 8 months ago or something in a video, how much damage increase food gives on average. It depends, of course, a bit on your build, but if you don't have any food equipped and you equip the, so to say, best in slot food, being the ascended food here for normal power build, you will get a stat increase of around 5 to 8%. Something around this. It depends on the build. It depends on sometimes, let's say it depends on the build most of the time. But let's say 5% you can expect to 8% from no food to best in slot food. Only the food though, yeah? And if you then decrease, so to say, the value and go from ascended food to normal food that doesn't have the 66% chance to see life on critical hit, you will lose the slight healing that you get from that because it's a life steal, so it heals you. And this will be around, I think it's 300 or something like that per second damage that you get from this if you hit consistently with it. It doesn't scale with power, so it has around I would say effectively 300 DPS that you get from this. So it's actually a very good food all the time, and it's also healing you. If you don't want to use that, you can also use the other one that gives you damage reduction instead of the lifesteal, which is just a flat amount. It doesn't give you more damage, but it gives you a bit more defenses, which can be good with protection on top of that. So I would say for most DPS builds, you can say at least 5% you get more for having food instead of having not food. But, and now it's the important part, there are foods like this here. Meaty Asparagus skewers, that's just one example, there are others as well. They give you 15% increased torment duration. There's another one for bleeding, there's another one for burning, and it also gives you 70 condition damage. So this food, just the top part with the 15% increased torment duration, gives you on paper for a build that uses around, like, let's say you have a build that doesn't exist, but if you have a build that gives 100% of its damage is only torment, nothing else, you only deal torment damage. This food gives you just the top line, gives you a 15% damage increase. Yeah, just the top line. Yes, I know, not all DPS builds, especially Condi builds, deal damage with one condition, but some of them are, and then this food gets to a DPS increase of over 10%. So food is really important. Really, really important. The important part to understand though is it's way more important to use any food than to use the best in slot food, you know? If you have a very budget alternative for Condi builds, yeah? Let's take a look at Condi builds here. If you have a Condi build, you typically would use food like this: cilantro and cured meat flatbreads. You get 100 condition damage and 70 expertise. If you then decrease that to a rather very, very cheap food, being the super veggie pizzas, you get 80 expertise and 60 condition damage. This food costs like below 1 silver on the trading post or something. Or like 1 silver or something. Koi cakes is the same. Yeah, I have koi cakes here as well. Yeah, this one. It's the same thing. Koi cake is even better than this one. Those two have a little bit less DPS than the ascended food. Yeah, sure. And the stats are swapped. Yeah, expertise is higher than condition damage. So it's not perfect. Yeah, I agree. But the damage increase you get from no food to food will still be extremely high. You get 80%, 90% of the increase that you will get towards ascended food. So it's always recommended to use even dirt cheap food than no food. So yes, I know it's annoying to double click it all the time, but you can use a metabolic primer if you really wanted to, but in general, it's always good to use food. Always. Of course, in PvP it doesn't work, but in World vs. World and PvE, using food is like always recommended because it will always increase your DPS by a significant amount, even if you use cheap food. It really, really is important. Yeah, always happy to help, Patricia. Yeah. I'm coming from WoW. I wonder, will Guild Wars 2 boring after 3k hours? You repeat yourself for years, the content. In WoW, you get always new expansion and content. I don't know. It depends what kind of player you are. You know, I played this game for over 10k hours. I still don't find it boring, but I might be like wired differently. Yeah, could be. I personally like the game and I still enjoy it, but I can see why people say you don't get new content that often. Only like every couple of months, maybe once a year. I can definitely see why someone would say, nah, that's not for me. That's fair. Guild Wars 2 is typically more for the casual audience. Yeah. That's just how the game is designed nowadays. Yeah. Yeah, and good point. Utility food comes on top of that. That was just the food, the consumable that you have. You also have utility consumables that are also adding on top of that. So it's like utility consumables. You can also use the cheapest ones, which are also adding some significant DPS. And then if you use the absolute best in slot, typically that's a Rit, which gives you like 10% more damage if your health is above 90%. Then you get like insane amount of value from that on top of that in a normal fight as well. But that's unrealistic in most cases because it's quite expensive. You would not use that. But just saying utility and food is really underestimated how good it is, and you should definitely use it all the time. If you just want to have a little bit more like effort put in, you will get significantly more damage. Yeah. Definitely worthwhile using, and you will also get more experience, especially if you use ascended food. You will get more experience, more magic find, so, and even more World vs. World gain if you use it in World vs. World. So it's definitely like, it's not only because of that it's useful. Yeah. Welcome, Christian. Welcome. Yeah, if you have any questions, just ask. You know, always happy to answer stuff. But yeah, welcome to the game. So I did get the jumping puzzle done. Very good. I'm a new level 80 player with Reaper, but I can't manage to do more than 6k DPS. I don't know why. So first of all, it's completely fine to, in the beginning of the game, not have perfect DPS. You know, it's very unrealistic to have perfect DPS. But the important part is that gear in Guild Wars 2 matters. Yeah, so you should have the perfect gear if you can get that. Like full Berserker on Reaper is the way to go. And then you use, for example, Exotic in the beginning. Yeah, you might have a little bit less DPS. Yeah, but the benchmark on a Power Reaper is around 40k or something. Yeah. So if you lose 10% damage because you're using exotic gear, then you would still be able to do 36k damage. Or 35k or something around that number without infusions. So that's definitely a good starting place. If you only do 6k DPS, that can't be the only reason. So either you have the wrong build or you have to learn the rotation, or both. So in Guild Wars 2, I would say half of the thing comes from having the best in-slot or the gear and the correct build equipped. And the other thing that you have to do is looking at your rotation. So how do I have to consecutively execute my attacks? So do I have to use my 2 skill into my 4 skill, or do I have to use my Shroud after I used my 2 skill? Stuff like that is extremely important, and people don't expect that coming from other games where you can just sometimes button mash and you will succeed. In Guild Wars 2, you can button mash, but the damage will be 50% of what you can achieve, or even lower. So even with the perfect build, by just button mashing, you might reach way, way less numbers. So it's really important to understand, get the best in slot gear that you can get, and then go from there and learn the rotation slowly. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you reach like around a decent number of how much you can get, like let's say 80% benchmark number, it's completely fine. You don't have to get perfect rotation. I will not get that either. But 80% or something, then you will be way better than just pressing random buttons. So if you need a website for that, I would always recommend for PvE using Snowcrows. It's by far the best website that there is. Or you can, if you want a build guide as a video, you can always use my YouTube channel, of course, !builds in the Twitch chat to find all the builds there, or just go to my YouTube channel if you're already there and search for the class that you are looking for. But yeah, in general, it's really, really important rotation in Guild Wars 2 PvE. It really is. Yeah. Found your channel a few days ago, and now I'm marathoning all the videos. I mean, I'm glad to hear that, yeah. There are a lot of videos nowadays already, so glad you enjoy them, and you have a long way to go, I guess. Yeah. That's me learning Luminary right now, just mashing buttons, but slowly learning to do better. Yeah, I think that's how you start, you know. But how I learn, if you are interested, how I learn my rotations, it's always like I equip the correct build, you know. I equip the build that Snowcrows mentions. I equip the build that I think is like the best, yeah. So I'm theory crafting my own, for example. And then I button mash, or I look at the buttons, read all the skills, and then I press the buttons to get a feeling. How long are the cast times? How do they feel? Do they have an after cast? Can I like cancel them early or whatever, yeah? To get a feeling for it, have a fun time, play it. And then I go to the golem and try to memorize the rotation perfectly, and then go every single time, try to kill the golem as fast as possible, get the highest benchmark number. Yeah, this is something that you have to understand if you want to get the highest numbers. It will not come on its own. You have to slowly put patiently your effort in, and you will slowly improve with the rotation. It's not something that you will do in like 50 minutes. Yeah, it will take a while, especially for harder builds. But if you put in the effort, you will get there. Yeah, I believe in you. Almost everybody can do that. Yeah. So don't worry, just try to improve and put in the effort, and you will get there. I can highly recommend going to the Special Forces training area in the Lion's Arch airdrome and getting there the golem up, and setting yourself with maximum boons and the conditions on the golem. Especially vulnerability is important, because that adds 25% damage to the golem, or to you deal 25% more damage, and therefore I would say you can see your somewhat realistic numbers in a group scenario, like in strike missions or in fractals or in raids or even dungeons. So this is something that you should definitely set up, and then you can just grind the golem over and over again. It really helps, and it improves you quite a bit. You can animation cancel? Yes. In Guild Wars 2, you can animation cancel. That is not like... The thing is, Guild Wars 2 has two distinct things. First of all, you can animation cancel some attacks finish before their animation finishes, and therefore you can cancel it if you are really like, if you know what you're doing, and cancel at the correct time and save like a fraction of a second, yeah, to get another attack in, yeah. That is especially on Warrior and Guardian something that you do somewhat regularly, not often, but somewhat regularly, yeah. Other classes don't have that. And then you have animation cancels that are relevant in PvP. I can show you that in a second as well. But in PvP and World vs. World, animation cancelling is way more important than it is in PvE, because it is used to bait enemies' attacks. Yeah, you bait enemies' attacks by animation cancelling. So let me show this. One of the best examples is on, where is it? Somewhere? I have too many characters, as you can see. On Necromancer in PvP. Yeah, you can showcase this on, where is it? Condi Reaper, for example. Yeah, so I go to my Reaper, and Reaper has a very good animation here. If this guy is the target and I use my Chill to the Bone, this has a rather big animation, you know, this shout. And if I stow my weapon while casting it, the animation will still play, but the attack will be cancelled and will go on a cooldown of like 4 seconds. So if this guy is a decent player, let's say, they will dodge this attack, because if they get hit, they will be stunned for 4 seconds here. So they will dodge this animation, but I just didn't cast it. So I will bait their dodge for it. And then if I do that like once or twice, then they don't have any dodges anymore and they can hit it and they will die if they don't have a stun break. So in PvP and World vs. World, animation cancelling is way more important on a high level than it is in PvE. But in PvE, there are still some attacks where you want to animation cancel. So, for example, you have attacks like this, the Death's Charge, which has an aftercast, and if you swap out of Shroud, it loses the aftercast. So you animation cancel even though you did the damage already. Stuff like that is somewhat happening on all classes, but some classes have way more than that than other classes. Yeah. Yeah, Mesmer Greatsword as well. There are so many classes that have that. It's not like making your build unplayable, but it's something that if you want to get to the highest numbers, you have to be aware of it. Yeah. Yeah. Also, I'm searching for a second spec who has high DPS and low intensity like Reaper, who can be played in every game mode. So in PvE, I would instantly say it's Mechanist. Like, Mechanist is one of the best specs to play in all game modes. Like, just in PvE, that is. Like, it's really good as a low intensity build. It has a lot of damage. If you want to have a low intensity builds for PvP and World vs. World, I'm a little bit more hesitant to recommend anything, because I personally think it's in competitive modes, low intensity build does not really exist in that way. Yeah. The problem is in competitive modes, oftentimes you have like builds that are easier to perform on, but even the easiest builds, like Ritualist, I can play a Ritualist match if you want. Where did it go? Even Ritualist is a build that is somewhat easy to get used to, but even then it's not low intensity. Yeah, it's not. You still have to press a lot of different buttons. That's the big problem here. In Guild Wars 2, PvP and World vs. World, it's always very skill dependent. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter what kind of build you're playing. You will always have somewhat of an issue with like fighting players that are better than you, even if you're playing a low intensity build. So I would say focus on PvE first, get a low intensity build like Mechanist or low intensity Reaper. I have a whole playlist on YouTube about low intensity builds. Check those out, find the one that you enjoy and play that in PvE. And if you play a specific class, if you like this class and you want to play it in competitive modes like World vs. World and PvP as well, look for a build that is very well suited there as well, and then you go from there and slowly learn it. That is my recommendation. So we have a question here in German. I will just translate it. I hope you will understand the answer in English as well. So we have some sales for single expansions sometimes, and is it better to get the expansions one by one or getting all of them in one go? So I would say it depends on your goal. I personally would say if there is a big sale happening and all the expansions are on sale and you know you will get all of them anyway, then getting them when they all are on sale is the best way. There is sadly not a single bundle that includes all the expansions all at once during a sale. That doesn't exist, sadly. I would love that. Like having, for example, buying the newest expansion with all the old expansions and having a really big bundle for that doesn't exist. That would be the best one. That would be the one that I would recommend if you get it anyway at some point. If you just want to get one expansion because you like the look of an elite spec, get the one that you want right now, or with the sale that is happening to this one, and look at the others later because the sales happen every few months. So just wait a bit. I personally would say, if you know you will get all of them anyway, get all of them when there's the big sale happening. If you only have current money for one, buy the one that is on sale. That is my recommendation. Welcome, Luki. I'm a WoW veteran that just decided to start playing Guild Wars 2, and your videos have been really helpful. I finally catch you live to tell you this. Glad to hear that. What class would you recommend that is a good boon DPS for my first character? I think that's the best choice for learning a game. Yeah, Catalyst, if you like Catalyst, Catalyst is a very good boon DPS. People underestimate how good Catalyst is. Catalyst has very good boon coverage, so you have like not only a single boon that you provide, but you provide like, I don't know, 5 to 10 different boons depending on how your setup is, which is crazy. And you have some decent utility with CC. It is not the easiest class, I will warn you. It's not like something that presses one button and then you have like DPS and boons covered. But if you are coming from WoW, you probably know how to play rotations to some extent. And Catalyst is no different there. You just have to go through your elements and press some buttons and then you will be fine. So I personally would say Catalyst is an amazing choice for that. It is not the utility monster that, for example, a Chronomancer would be, because a Chronomancer has a little bit less DPS, but you have like reflex, you have stability, you have like CC, everything in one kit. So Chronomancer would be more utility focused, whereas Catalyst is more DPS focused. Both of it is completely fine. I think if you like Catalyst, go for Catalyst. Yeah. But like I said, if you, to be honest, Scrapper is a really good choice for boon DPS. There are so many good ones right now. So if you have really no preference and you are here listening in chat and you want to have a good boon DPS as well, check out my boon DPS tier list. But right now there are like over 20 boon DPS that I can say they are really good. Like Guild Wars 2 is really good in terms of like making classes balanced and playable in all like roles. So definitely saying that, but if you already have an eye on Catalyst, Catalyst is a very good choice for that. Yeah. Here in a video that you say Scrapper is good at roaming world versus world, can you show the build? So Scrapper as a roamer has multiple builds. So you can play a power Scrapper, yeah, the classical power Scrapper that you always play. What do we have here, by the way? Let's check. Nice, very good. But yeah, the thing is, Scrapper has multiple builds. You can play a full power Scrapper, you can play a Celestial Scrapper, you can even play some kind of Seraph Scrapper. It's crazy. I might do a video about showcasing all the different Scrapper builds very soon, but I have to be honest, I'm not a Scrapper main. So I would not like showcase my highest level gameplay because I'm not really good at Scrapper. So I will maybe make a video about it, but right now I don't have the perfect build here set up, so I cannot showcase it on stream, sadly. Yes, of course, good point. If you want to support my channel, thanks Patricia for mentioning. If you want to support my channel, you can use my referral link for buying any expansion or even downloading the game for the first time. And I will be supported from that, and you don't have to have any additional cost for you. So if you want to check that one out, be sure to do so if you want to support me. Oh, come on. I want to push far as soon as the enemy team is like here. I will push far now, I guess. What was that? Reaper? Yeah. Gale shot. Just pushing far here. Have a decent amount of mobility with it. Very good. And get decap. Hopefully get a 1-on-1 because that's what my build is strong. I guess I'm not. Meta Battle has really good Celestial Conde Amalgam build under World vs. World roaming. Yeah, if you're looking for a roaming build specifically, I think Meta build has like a lot of builds, so don't be like overwhelmed by it. But you can try all of them if you want. Not all of them are that crazy good, I have to be honest. Some of them are a little bit niche, but you can try them for sure. That was a bit nasty. Let's get the decap here maybe. Okay. Got the dodge. See, that was the thing. If you see the animation that I showcased just now, just earlier. Get the CC here. Nice. Nice. Oh, there's the gale shot. There's the gale shot. We should focus on the gale shot for sure. A little bit painful. I can get the geek again. Okay, I guess. With the story structures, can you play chapter 1 with one character and then chapter 2, 3 with the other character? Yes, to some extent you can do that. Not necessarily. So, for example, if you start a new storyline in like Visions of Eternity, for example, then that's a little bit annoying, the CC chaining here. No, I don't have the CC. Oh, that's unlucky. Either way, thank you very much for the support, by the way, Baka. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate the support. Very good. So you can, if you start Visions of Eternity story, for example, yeah. Let's kill this thing and then maybe get the safe rest. Let's see. Does he come back? That's the important part. If they come back, I have to cancel it. But if not, I will get the safe rest here. That would be rather decent, to be honest. But I think they might come back and then I wasted a lot of time here. No, looks good, looks good. Yeah, so if you start Visions of Eternity story to finish this, then... Why are they all playing con? It's a little bit painful. Yeah, that's not good. At least I died on point now. That's okay. So, Visions of Eternity story. If you started on a character, you have to go through the first part of the story on this character. Otherwise, you will not save it. But if you, for example, if you played it once, you can go back on this character to every single story step. But if you want to start, for example, the story on this character where I haven't played the story yet, I can only jump to the specific chapters. So I can jump to the start, I can jump to the first like quarterly update, to the second one, and to the third. I cannot get all of the story missions. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, don't die. Exactly. I should not die. That's the important part. But I think this is not a very good match, to be honest. Not playing well, and you also lose all team fights. I have a level 80 boost and play from Australia with medium high ping. What is a good class to boost so I can do high level content? I would say it's probably the best class for that. The best class for that might be something like a warrior or necromancer that has a little bit higher health pool and a little bit more safety, while being also like not too instant cast heavy. So that would be my recommendation there. But yeah, it's high ping is always, you will not have, if you just get used to it, it's not like horrible. Oh my god, of course he dodges that. Okay, got full life again. But I think like you can get used to it, and therefore I would say like for most people, my recommendation would be like probably warrior or necromancer are somewhat the safest. Maybe in PvE, if you play a lot of PvE, scrapper can also be really good because of the barrier and the stuff like that. But it is never like, you will never be as easy to play as players with lower ping. Just have to keep that in mind. Yeah, I will stream more often. That's my goal there. Yes, more streaming. Did I not assign? Wait, Really? Did I miss some stats? That might be bad, yeah. So we're playing against an Evoker here. That should be a good matchup for us. Should be a good matchup, but who knows? Maybe I'm bad. Yeah, maybe I'm bad. I mean, this is also like sad because this is, I think, not good. Not a good showcase. I'm really bad. I'm really bad today. Any good hybrid builds for open world besides Spectre and Scorch Ritualist, like wounds plus 20k DPS plus 3 to 4k heal currently? There are a lot of like good hybrid builds for open world metas. I would say like Firebrand is really good with a hybrid build. I think Tempest is really good, but you mentioned Spectre and Scorch and Ritualist. I would personally say like Firebrand, Spectre. Oh my god, the Immobilize into the CC chaining is like horrible. Yeah, this is not a good match to showcase, to be honest. How do I counter Ritualist? Like, what's the big bad spell to dodge? A Ritualist, you typically want to dodge the Shroud attacks. So if a Ritualist is out of Shroud, it doesn't do that much damage. In PvP, that is. If you dodge the Shroud attacks, you have insane amount of value from it. For example, Shroud 3, the animation, I will showcase this in a second when I go and fight. It's like the attack, is some kind of circular attack on the enemy. So this attack now that you see, this like circle that appears on air, if you dodge this, then you don't get CC, then don't get the damage from all the follow-up. And other than that, that's a little bit annoying. Why is everyone playing like Evoker today? It's crazy. So this is the most important Shroud, and of course the Teleport. The Teleport gives a daze and a lot of damage to the enemy. So you should dodge this one. But all the others are like just slowly tickling. You know, this is like dealing some damage over time. Your staff skills deal damage over time. It's like there is not one big attack that you should dodge other than the Shroud skills. Yeah. Playing from Singapore said that there are no C servers. Yeah, I agree. I think that is a little bit like an oversight. Maybe they don't have the money. Maybe there are not enough players there. But I think that's a little bit sad that this doesn't exist. Yeah. Maybe they will add it in the future. Maybe with a new game. Need to get a kill here, I guess. So let's go there and get the kill here on the Reaper, on the Core Necro. And should be able to get a kill here, hopefully. Maybe we get a kill here. We got him. Finally. I mean, it's still not lost the match, to be honest. It's not lost yet. It's might be a close one, but it's not lost yet. Can get the kill here for sure. CC. Nice. Okay, we have to cleave this guy though. This is not good. Okay, we cleaved them. Very good. We have to kill the Gale Shot here. Should be now. I will read the chat in a second. Just need to make sure that we're here. Oh my god, the evades. And then I'm against the Core Necro again. We are still like almost 200 points behind, so that will be a tough one, to be honest. The Core Necromancer's survivability with my build that I don't deal that much damage, so it's really annoying to deal with this guy. And then they have to, nah, it's not good, it's not good. Not very nice. Okay, that's good. That's good, that time is... Would there ever be a video about defensives, cooldowns, teleports, and learn when to attack a class or something like that? So I have videos like that, actually, somewhat. I have 2, 3, 4, I'm not completely sure, videos that are about how to counter a specific class. And the interesting part is, this is rather high effort videos, so if you like them, let me know and check them out. It's like how to counter thieves, how to counter mesmer, how to counter harbingers or something like that. And they are, I put a lot of effort into them, so you can check them out. It's not easy to come up with videos like this, and hopefully they help you then. I don't have them for all classes yet though. Yeah, Necromancer is, I think it's a little bit weird that Necromancer has that much mobility. I think that's not a healthy design, that Necromancer can teleport that fast and that much. I think that's just against the class design. I'm not sure why Ritualist needs to have it, but it makes the class really viable. If Necromancer wouldn't have that, or Ritualist in specific, then Ritualist wouldn't be that good. Like, it really is about Ritualist needs to have that, otherwise it is just not as good. First of all, big thanks for all the content you're providing. It's very helpful. I was wondering if you had any advice for a returning raider to get back into things. Lots of new content seems to have been added to the game, and I'm not sure. That's okay. That's okay. So I plan on doing like more raid guides coming up in the next month, because we will get the raid quick play feature. So if you have raided before, if you haven't raided before, the raid quick play feature will probably be a really, really good feature, because it will allow you to just get into very, so to say, easy mode raids and go from there. If you then want to go into something that is a little bit, how can I say, more pronounced, so to say, it's a little bit harder, like for example normal modes, or you go for like challenge modes, either stuff like that, it doesn't matter. You can go and start with the quick play and go from there, and then you will have a very easy time to slowly improve. Yeah, so that would be my recommendation. Wait until 1 month when we get the quick play feature, and then you can, if you want to get into that before, just go into the easy modes. Like I would say, go for Veil Guardian, like looking for groups with Veil Guardian here, or like Wing 4 is also quite easy, and slowly going from there, picking a build that you like. Typically DPS builds are the easiest to get into, and then you have probably a rather easy time to slowly improve. That would be my recommended way of doing it, because other than that, it's like raiding. I can always recommend raiding is the best if you want to get from zero, starting from scratch, is the best if you go to a training Discord and go from there, because they have amazing good things, yeah, to help you out. So, and hopefully we win a match today, because that was not a very good showcase. Let's play some support. I want to play support Paragon, having some fun with it, and let's play some support. Oh, we have an instant match queue. Hopefully that's a good sign. We will see. We will see. But yeah, if you have any other questions, just ask. I'm always happy to answer stuff, yeah, and debate some stuff hopefully as well. Initial days of Fractal quick plays were a bit weird, I think. Half of party was speedrunning, while the other half was looking around trying to figure out what to do. So that is a valid point. The thing is, you have to understand, quick play for Fractals had 2 player bases that clashed. You had players that never played Fractals and were first introduced with playing Fractals, yeah, by quick play, which is awesome that they were able to do that. But the other player base was like me. We played Fractals every single day, but we wanted the reward from quick play. So I think they will do somewhat the same for the raid quick play, because they want to have veterans do the same content as new players, so that we have a lot of interest in the content, not only provide content for one part of the player base. So I hope that makes sense. I see the issue that you're mentioning here, that you have, so to say, players that want to take it slowly and learn it, where others just want to speedrun it. I think that is an issue, yes. But the good part about raids is there is not something like, or let's say specifically for the new raids, where you only have a specific boss, like a strike mission boss or raid boss, a single encounter, nothing else, that's not really like speedrunning is possible, you know? You want to kill the boss as fast as possible. I think even new players want that. They don't want to sit on a boss for 30 minutes if they could kill it in 5. So I think this aspect that you're mentioning here, that in Fractals you do skips or that you like use some I don't know, interesting cheats, I would say, or I don't know, teleports to get through walls or something. Let's leave it like that. That is something that you can do in Fractals, but in raids, in quick play, I don't have any, like, I don't see that being an issue, yeah, because you will probably just kill the boss. That's the whole thing, yeah. I wouldn't say exploits, yeah, it was probably wrong. It's just like you want to do in fractal skips, yeah, teleporting through walls and stuff like that. Not saying that is illegal, it's just something that you can do in Guild Wars 2, like teleporting through walls using blinks and stuff, yeah. So I'm actually quite hopeful for the quick play. Maybe I'm too optimistic there, but I'm quite hopeful for it. I'm interested in starting to pick up healing, Luminary Chronom, PvE. Is there anything special to think about? What's different from other MMOs? So you don't ally target in Guild Wars 2. I'm playing a support in PvP right now, so you will see that in a second. But in PvE, it's somewhat the same, you know? So my attacks are... Oh my god, my ally is already dead. I can get the banner here, that's good. But I'm healing my ally. Oh my god. That's so much damage. Oh my god. I mean, at least we got like a 2 cap almost. That is crazy. But yeah, in Guild Wars 2, ally targeting is for healing is not how it is in other MMOs. In Guild Wars 2, like 99% of the attacks are ground targeted or AoEs. So you don't have to target an ally to heal them. Yeah, I will use my attacks around them and they will get healed. And that's why a healer in Guild Wars 2 is very easy to pick up in a lot of cases, because you don't have to target most of the time anything and you will be somewhat decent with it. The thing is, like, healers also have a lot of responsibility in Guild Wars 2, like in most other games as well. I'm not sure if I can get there in time though. I can't get this. I can't get this. Yeah, now I'm dying. Yeah, that's why you should not do that. It's so annoying to play support if you're too I don't know. We are playing a 3 cap. They would win this match easily if they don't push far all the time. And I played so bad in this. I should not have gone for the rest. It hurts. It really hurts. But yeah, healer in Guild Wars 2 are not tap target in that case. Yeah. I like how Lonely Tower, Kinfall, and Silent Surf are absolutely HP sponsors, and then on the flip side, you have Snowblight, Cliffside, and Uncategorized. Yeah, it's a little bit weird. It really is. My team is like, why are they dying everywhere? I have to go for the decap here and then push, I guess, like somewhere, because they are dying like left and right. And how many are close? And they are close, all of them. I will just go far, I guess. It's so stupid. It's crazy. We have to regroup. I mean, there are 3 people here on me. That's I guess something. That's something for sure. And a Gale shot sniping me from range on this map. Not very good. At least we have hopefully like regroup at middle. I don't know. Yeah, the only exception to somewhat of like having to ally target is Revenant Scepter and a Spectre. Those 2 have ally targeting. Everything else doesn't really have ally targeting, so it's not really like in other MMOs. I don't know. I should not have played support in this match. I don't know. Wherever I go, my teammates are already dead. Ooh, that doesn't feel like playing support here is good. Yeah, Gale shot is really good in PvP. Like, I don't know where to go. I really don't know. I think this is just like over. I don't want to be pessimistic or give up, but my team needs to regroup with me as a support. But I don't see my team being like... Yeah, PvP right now is just like... It's quite sad, to be honest. It's quite sad. fight in front of our spawn, I guess. I mean, we got a cap. Yes, we got a cap. So you see, I'm running in circles and I'm supporting my team just as well as I would target them, because I have like AoE attacks. All of them are healing them. Most of them are healing them. I mean, if we win this fight, we have a chance. We have a chance. But right now, it doesn't look good. That was a rather nasty pull. Let's see if we can get something done out of this. I have to heal my ally here, but... Not good. Not a good showcase either. I wanted to have one good PvP match in this stream, but apparently it's not gonna happen. Yeah, PvP is just like, it's just sad, to be honest. I think the meta is very, very toxic. Especially for new player. If you don't have Visions of Eternity, you will lose. Even if you have Visions of Eternity, the matches are very, very unfun to play. I will get the res here. And get some healing again. I guess. No, will not. Teleport away from me. I guess that's what they get. Not good. And the Antiquary is also like not good if you play against good players. And we don't have any good players in my team. Except not even myself. It's not good, not good. Mesmer for Fractal, you can do some portal skip. Yeah, Mesmer is a really good class for that. Mesmer is one of the best classes to play in Fractal specifically. Yeah. Thanks for the consistently valuable content. I wonder which class is the best for homestead farming? I mean, I don't know. You have to level 80 to get permanent quickness on all classes. That's just how it is, because in Guild Wars 2, like, there is not a single core class that can upkeep permanent quickness. God. This guy is really like... But the rest at least, that's good, but I don't know. Doesn't seem like a good match. Between Elementalist and Mesmer, which one has a better spec to do Fractals? Yeah, like I said, I think Chronomancer is probably the best in general, or Mesmer for Fractals, of those two at least. Yeah, I think like PvP is very stressful, and I don't know. I think PvP is stressful for most players, and right now it is also not even fun, you know? I play PvP and I always hope for a fun match, but you see, I'm playing support. My team is just not team fighting at all. If I play a DPS build, I don't have a support and my team is like just not rotating at all. I don't know, it doesn't matter what I play. I feel like it's just not a very good setup for most of the time. So we can get some healing here. We have this like a decent damage here on the target. Get some support again. Yeah, that's not good. Too much damage. Sad, sad, sad. Chrono can be great support and versatile. Chrono can also switch quickness or alacrity. Yeah, exactly. Chronomancer for Fractals is really good. And if you want to play something different but still play Mesmer, you can still play Troubadour and have a really good quickness heal as well. It's like Mesmer for Fractals is just really top tier. Yeah, that was a little bit sad, to be honest. But yeah, I tried my best. Thanks for Patricia for the kind words, yeah. Returning player here after 12 years or so, can you please suggest a good class for PvE in general, mostly open world and metas? I have a 12-year-old Mesmer and the new Elite spec looks awesome, but I'm not sure if like the floating Virtuoso daggers or not. Another option is to level a Necromancer or Revenant. I already tried Guardian with the Dragon Hunter Elite spec, but it's too flashy for me. All the white and blue flashes are not really great for my eyes. So, what is the best thing here for me to recommend? If you play open world and metas, I think like if you like Troubadour, which is the newest Mesmer spec, I think it is extremely good for open world. Specifically a quickness like DPS Troubadour is really good because it has great CC, which is good for open world. It has good quickness and boon output, so good for allies. You have some good damage for being alone. You can even have some invulnerability in the kit. I really like having Troubadour as a quick DPS build. Like, it's really good. So I would probably go with this if you already like that one. At least for me, that is something that seems to make the most amount of sense. That would be my recommendation. But if you specifically want to play solo, so in a solo build, then what is one of the best ones? But you say meta events, so you probably don't want to solo anything like that. Then I have a full tier list about solo builds. You can check that one out on my YouTube channel. But in general, I would say for meta events, it's better to be something that is more aggressive and supports allies because you have allies around you. Yeah. Yes, you can play PvP and you can like queue up with players up to 2 in the ranked. And if you play monthly ATs and daily ATs, you can queue with 5 people together. And then you can, of course, use a Discord server or something to have voice chat. There is no built-in voice chat in Guild Wars 2. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even in low tier, you know. Normally I'm Platinum 2 or something at the end of a season. It's just like if you play support and you get like matched with gold players, it feels horrible because or even lower, then it's like not, they just don't know how to play with you because I cannot be alone, you know. As soon as I'm alone, I'm dead. I need someone that actually deals damage so I can support them and they deal damage for me. It's just not good. Support in rank can be very painful. Is the Chrono nerf so bad this upcoming patch? So the Chronomancer nerf in the upcoming patch is really interesting because it will be a nerf to heal Chronomancer and heal Chronomancer will be worse. Yes. It's still a S tier support after that. So if you play support Chronomancer, let me showcase this, then you will still have amazing skills. But this attack is one of the best attacks in the entire game. It gives healing, it provides stability, Aegis, endurance, and is a stun break for you. On a 30-second cooldown, because you have alacrity, and Chronomancer gets better alacrity, it has like a 20-second cooldown. It's really good. This skill will get doubled in cooldown. So yes, you will get a nerf to it, for sure. Chronomancer will be worse than right now, but it will still be an S tier build. So if you like Chronomancer, don't worry about it. It's interesting because Chronomancer will also get buffed in a way. Chronomancer will get a better power DPS build because right now power DPS Chronomancer is good, but it will get even better with the patch. So you will see all my takes on this and my, so to say, guides about this very soon when the patch hits in like 9 days. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. The stat is not assigned. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure like the thing that you saw there is only for the gear that I have equipped. I can showcase this, but it is only for like I have legendary gear equipped. Yeah, exactly this one. This is what you meant. So this means that I don't have legendary gears stats equipped, but my gear here is equipped. So I have gear equipped for PvP. It's just not like I have not selected my PvE and world versus world gear because that doesn't matter in PvP. That's why it shows that I don't care for my PvP characters. For PvP, only this like stat window is important. Hope that makes sense. Yeah. I've been watching your videos for some time now, and I must say I really appreciate them. I wanted to ask, do you offer coaching? So, of course, you can write me in my Discord server if you want, and then you can write me what exactly you want, and we can talk about it. Sure, yeah, I do that as well. I did it in the past, and if you need some specific help, I'm always happy to help, yeah. I'm a new player and in love with Revenant, specifically Vindicator. I'm open to learn Herald or Conduit. I mean, Vindicator is really like fun. It's really good. You can play healer and you can play a DPS. Those are the two best options there. And yeah, they're great. I can tell you some stuff about them for sure. This Mesmer is already a story and memories and 100% map completion. I'll try to better. Thanks a lot. Yeah, happy to help. If you have any other question, let me know. Yeah. In PvP, Vindicator is, I would say, mostly being played as a DPS spec. Yeah, you can play a healer there as well, but typically if you like Vindicator, you will probably play some kind of DPS Vindicator, which is good, but not crazy good. I don't have the Legacy tournament titles, but I have some of the, where is it? I have some of the really old school titles. Where is it? How they call it? Like Exalted Legend. How is there? This one, Exalted Legend here. And how is the other one called? There are more of those, like where you had to not be good at PvP, just play some PvP in the really old school things. Yes, I have that. This one, Illustratus Legend, I think this is one of them. I have some of those titles, yeah. But I'm not a title hunter, so I don't really care about most of them. I never equipped them, to be honest, yeah. Yeah, Chronomancer and Fractus is somewhat of a cheat code. It really is. If you want to carry a group right now, Chronomancer is probably your best choice for that. Is Chronomancer hard class? Like I need timing to my skills and spam it off cooldown? So Chronomancer, I would say, is only a hard class if you want to play like extremely hard content. There you have to actually understand when to use it. But if you play like casual content, like Fractals or like strike missions, it doesn't matter. You spam your attacks and you will have a really good boon up time for your allies. And you have good healing as well. And you have a lot of utility. So I would say it's not hard to get into, but it's hard to master. Yeah, to absolutely top end ceiling level, then it's somewhat hard to master. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. I've seen you have a lot of achievement points. Any tips on that? I think the most important part about achievement points is try to do something that is fun to you and that you need some achievements if you want to hunt them. I think achievement hunting in Guild Wars 2 is mostly about patience, yeah? So you go through all of that stuff that you want to do and get the achievements, and if you have some achievement that is just really hard for you to get because you cannot complete it, go to something else and try to get another achievement. I think going for a single achievement and grinding it until the end of time because you will not get it because it's too hard for you is just a little bit like save it a bit and go for something else. In general, like getting high achievement points in Guild Wars 2 comes over the years. It's not something that you can say, I focus on achievement points and next month I have like 10k more. That is very unrealistic. It comes with time. You just have to spend time and get achievement points. I just played the game for a long while. I'm not even an achievement hunter. I just played the game for a while, for a decade at this point, and that's why I have so many. And a lot of them come from like dailies and weeklies, or dailies and monthlies here. And you get a lot from festivals, so sort of your festival achievement points. And of course, a lot of them are expansion related, like Story Journal or Visions of Eternity, like for example, like the map related ones. There are so many achievements in this game. I think like the cap is somewhere between like 50 to 55k at this point, and it will go even higher. So yeah, achievements is a big grind if you want to get all of them. Yeah. I didn't like PvP, but still sad I didn't finish the 2012 and 13 Winter Day. So no title for me. Yeah, that's a little bit, that's very interesting that they have done titles that are not in the game anymore, that you cannot get anymore. That's a little bit sad. Maybe they bring it back at some point, who knows. Yeah. Yeah, but the wiki helps you a lot. Like, wiki helps for achievements like the best. Just Guild Wars 2 wiki, you can always type. So go into chat, type /wiki, and then whatever achievement you want to do, type, for example, if this is the achievement that you want to get, type /wiki and then solid ground, and the wiki will open in your browser with this achievement. It's awesome. It's really good. This wiki, including it, it's really, really good. And you can do that for everything, and that will help you immensely. Yeah. Only PvP one I have is the server veteran title for World vs. World. Yeah, I guess that's also something that not the newest players don't have either. So yeah. I have the fishing COD title, yes. I did grind the fishing stuff, yeah. I think fishing is quite fun in this game. COD swimming amongst mere minnows. That's the fishing title. Yes, I have that one. That is quite funny. I like the fishing. It's quite relaxing. It was and is still to this day a decent gold farm. I have most of the fishing achievements. I don't have the Castora one and I don't have the Mistburnt Barrens one, but all the others I have. So yeah, fishing is good. Yeah. Great content. I couldn't believe in your showcase that you're not into fashion after seeing your other video of unlocking all skins. Yeah, it's irony of life, I guess. Someone that has all of the stuff unlocked doesn't care about it. Yeah, it's weird, but yeah. I shot both videos and I wanted to ask, the builds on the website are constantly updated, so I'm worried I always need to buy new gear to stay up to date. Because of that, I've been very hesitant to invest in gear. Do you have any tips? So in Guild Wars 2, I would say builds might be updated, yes. So you might update, for example, your Berserker gear to a little bit of an assassin piece there or something like that. But oftentimes it's more about the rotation gets updated, maybe the sigils get updated, but that you have to exchange your full gear, like full Berserker gear, and have to go for a completely different gear stat is very... It happens almost never. So if you have a specific build that you want to play, let's say Power Reaper, then you equip Power Reaper with the gear that currently is the best in slot gear, and from now on, you will have the best in slot gear. It's very unlikely that it will change ever. So if you have a build that you really enjoy, get the best in slot gear for it, at least how much you can afford it, and then go from there and just try to learn the rotation. That might change in the future, the rotation, maybe even the traits, but the gear itself is typically staying the same. That is my tip there, yeah. Yes, you can redo the fishing achievements, and you will get, again, some kind of reward for it. And you can repeat that like multiple times, yeah. So this one I've repeated 2 times, this one I've repeated 1 time, and it gives you a little bit of loot on top of that. Like it's some ambergris and of course the general fishes here as well. I didn't win any in-game skins, sadly. Not a single one. Chat gives you 3 themes. You have to create a full outfit to fit that theme. Oh my god, that would be really funny, yeah. Like I have no clue about Fashion Wars in Guild Wars 2. Like like my character here, I played a lot in the last few years, and I have like some fashion here, but I never changed it like ever. So that's like probably a very fun challenge to watch, because I would be struggling so hard to create the fashion. It's crazy, yeah. Yeah, always happy to help. Just get the legendary gear, then you don't care if builds get changed. That is true. That is also a good option. I know that's the big brain move, like going from exotic gear directly to like legendary gear, because then you don't have to change it ever, because you always have the option to say, oh, I want to customize my Berserker gear and go assassins now. Yeah, that is true. But I would say for most players that only play a single character, it's not as good as for players like me that play like 50 different builds, and I want to try different builds every single day. So be a bit careful with what you get, because just going for legendary gear because you can swap the gear in 2 years is probably not a worthwhile investment just for this reason alone. Yeah. I got one more question. As a WoW Mythic Plus player in Guild Wars 2, can I do as many fractals as I want, or is the limit to do it? I'm still not leveling, not there yet. So fractals is interesting. So fractals, I will showcase this. So fractals, you see here, this is one of the entrances here. And it's like you can play unlimited amount of fractals each day. There is nothing like keys in Guild Wars 2. So you can play as many fractals as you want. And for reward, you will always get some random chunk. And you will get 2 items. This one is the most common one. For every single fractal you complete, depending on the difficulty scale, you get those fractal encryption boxes. It's just a loot box in the end. And this is, you can sell it on the trading post, yeah, and that will give you some gold. But you can also open it with those fractal encryption keys. And those keys to open those loot boxes, those are account bound and you cannot sell them, and they are somewhat daily kept. You cannot get more than like a specific amount, like 100 or something, or a bit more than per day. It's just not possible. And that means that you can get a lot of those boxes, and if you then get every single day as much of the keys as possible, you can get infinite loot, so to say, because you can always sell the overflowing fractal encryptions on the trading post to players that just get the keys. The keys you get from daily achievements. So in fractals you get daily fractals, and if you do them, you get some keys. And you can also go to a vendor and purchase some keys each day. Those are the ways. And if you want to know now, this is a loot box, but in general, it always gives you the same amount of gold. I open a stack of those loot boxes, so 250. It gives me a bit more than 100 gold extremely consistently. So if I open now one box with one key, yeah, then let me showcase this. I opened one box, I get a cracked fractal encryption, and if I open that, I will get some loot, and most importantly, I will get a trash item, which I can sell to a vendor, which gives me 20 silver in this case. There are others. Sometimes you get 1 gold, sometimes you get 1 silver. There are a lot of different ones, but on average you get over 100 gold for opening those 1 stack of boxes. And that is infinite gold, so to say. So if you want to do one of the decent or one of the best gold farms in the game is actually farming rather low level fractals, for example 47 Nightmare Fractal or 42 Captain Mitrin Boss Fractal, and farming it over and over again, and you can do it 24/7 if you wanted to, and that gives you a lot of gold. That is possible, but you can also do like higher level fractals, but typically most players play the daily fractals, which takes with the challenge modes like 1.5 to 2 hours, and then you get the most amount of gold for this day, for the time spent, and then you can do the gold farm, but you don't have to. Yeah. Hope that answers your question. Yeah, so yeah, and I think that's also like I'm also like at the end of today's stream. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Wasn't that much of a long one, but I really wanted to talk about some stuff, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and wish you a very nice Sunday. And hopefully we see each other in the next few streams. We do more, way more, next few upcoming days, weeks, months even. So be sure to check out my YouTube if you haven't already. And I wish you a very nice day and take care. See you guys.